Dear participants of the 9th Youth Kiev Security Forum, on behalf of NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg, we send you the best wishes for your timely and important event. It is a great initiative to dedicate this Youth Kiev Security Forum to Ukraine-NATO relations. Thank you to Arsenija Yacenyuk for inviting me to speak to you. Next Monday, allied NATO heads of state and government will gather in Brussels for the NATO summit. This is the first meeting with President Biden and a unique opportunity to reinforce allied unity and solidarity, to accelerate NATO's ongoing adaptation, and to prepare NATO for the future. To stay successful, NATO must continue to adapt to today's challenges and tomorrow's challenges, and deal with a world of global competition, advancing authoritarianism, and continued instability in NATO's neighborhood. For this purpose, we have launched the NATO 2030 initiative. At our summit, NATO leaders will take decisions on many issues that affect our security, such as the challenges posed by Russia, to which we will continue to respond by strengthening our deterrence and defense, by being open to dialogue, and by deepening our partnerships with like-minded countries and organizations around the world. Leaders will also discuss other pressing issues that are part of an ambitious and forward-looking agenda: the threats from terrorist and cyber attacks, the challenges posed by disruptive technologies, the security challenges of climate change, and the rise of China. Ukraine has been one of our closest partners, and we consulted on these NATO 2030 decisions. Throughout its independence, Ukraine has demonstrated its commitment and its ability to contribute to Euro-Atlantic security, in particular through its significant contributions to NATO-led missions and operations. That's why last year, the North Atlantic Council granted Ukraine the status of Enhanced Opportunities Partner, which only 5 other partner nations have. On this basis, and based on the values and principles we share, we will further develop our mutually beneficial partnership. As part of our efforts to respond to the challenges that we face together, allies also consulted Ukraine on the Russian challenge. Like virtually no other country, Ukraine has seen Russian aggressive behavior. Russia's attempts to undermine the rules-based international order culminated in its occupation of Crimea, its military intervention in Ukraine, and fueling of the deadly conflict in eastern Ukraine. Allies are unwavering in their support for Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. They showed this again recently in the face of the unprecedented Russian military buildup along Ukraine's borders and in Crimea. They quickly agreed additional measures to enhance Ukraine's situational awareness and its capacity to resist disinformation and hybrid threats. Allies fully support your country's right to decide its own future without foreign interference. Ukraine's Euro-Atlantic aspirations will be high on the agenda of this Youth Kiev Security Forum. Young people in Ukraine have made their choice clear. On Maidan Square, during elections, and with active engagement in civil society organizations. You want to be part of a family of free and democratic nations. NATO's door remains open. Allies stand by the decisions of the Bucharest Summit in 2008 that Ukraine and Georgia will become NATO members. I expect NATO leaders to state very clearly at the summit next week that principle. But there is no shortcut to membership. Each prospective member has to go through wide-ranging reforms, not only of its security and defense institutions, but also with regard to the rule of law, good governance, and economic stabilization. These are things that the Ukrainian people of all ages expect from their leadership. Reforms will make Ukraine more resilient, more prosperous, and more stable, and will bring Ukraine closer to NATO. So leadership on the issue of Ukraine's Euro-Atlantic aspirations means first and foremost leadership on the reform track. Significant progress has already been made. There is still work ahead. So I wish you successful and thought-provoking discussions Engaging with young experts is always a privilege. I really regret that I can't be with you in person today. In the coming months, NATO's engagement with Ukraine will certainly intensify, not only because the restrictions related to COVID-19 will be lifted, but also because allies in Ukraine are eager to work together even more closely, and we look forward to this.